Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to No Man's Sky in Review. This is the part of my YouTube channel where I do a review of the games that I've just got done playing, and this time it's No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is a game I really wanted to like. I didn't buy into the hype. I set my expectations at what I felt were plausible levels, and I still just can't like this game. The heart and soul of this game is just hidden behind hours of repetition and grinding, and when you do find the soul of the game, it exists only in moments, flashes of emotion that are ultimately meaningless. No Man's Sky is a game missing the game. Overall, I'd give No Man's Sky a 5 out of 10 at the moment. I just can't do any better. That may change if they get the large updates out that they mention, but for the moment, that's the best I can give it. If that's all you want, like and subscribe on your way out. If, however, you want to know the reason No Man's Sky got such a low score, keep watching. When I think of No Man's Sky, I have one word that comes to mind: potential. Sadly, No Man's Sky never even tries to make use of its incredible potential. The music is excellent. It makes a few moments that No Man's Sky has better. If I had to put a number on the music, I'd say 9 out of 10. It's a funky electric that can change to fast-paced digital or slow, quiet, more mournful tones. And it does fit. It isn't perfect, but it fits the sci-fi background that is throughout No Man's Sky to a T. The art of No Man's Sky is really art. The worlds are exactly like they look on the covers of old sci-fi books, which is great because that's exactly what they're supposed to look like. The worlds are beautiful and they really do seem to come to life, but the system for procedural generation that the game has just can't keep up with the art, and the creatures wind up being warped and misshapen, and clearly done by a computer. This breaks the immersion, and sometimes you just can't help but pause and say, "That's just not real, come on guys." I'm forced to give it a score of 7 out of 10. The story would be better if it simply wasn't there. That's to say, there's no story to speak of in No Man's Sky, and the one that they tried to tack on was clearly tacked on. I don't feel at all guilty about spoiling it because you really should know what you're getting into. The player wakes up next to his crashed spaceship. A broken part next to the spaceship has remnants of a computer AI called Atlas. It commands you to follow its orders. You do. A new solar system is formed. That's it. No, like, really guys, that's it. That's all there is to this game's story. 0 out of 10. Oh, and you may be asking, what is exactly at the center of the galaxy? A portal to the next galaxy! Yeah. That's it. I know. Moving on to combat. The combat should be a lot tighter and a lot harder. Most enemies can be filled in a few shots, and grenades are cheap enough that you can simply launch a couple at the enemy and be done with it. And I recommend doing that. Space combat is the exact opposite. Controls are sluggish, everybody moves at the same speed, and enemies in groups of greater than 3 will kill you. This can be avoided, but only if you spend too much time and resources upgrading your ship's weapons and shields. 3 out of 10. The UI is okay, I guess. It works, but there are a few oddities. Sprinting is mapped to R3 on the controller, and it feels weird since pretty much every other first-person game in the past 7 years had it mapped to L3 instead. The inventory feels a little small at first, but it's easily upgradable in the later game. That said, some things about the inventory just make no sense. An example is trade goods. Your inventory only holds 250 materials per slot in your exosuit. Your ship holds 500 materials per slot. So you would think that you could only hold 1 trade good on your person. Your ship would be able to hold 2 trade goods per slot, right? Wrong! Your ship only holds 1 trade good per slot, which is odd to say the least. But the single most frustrating part of the UI is really the time delay between pressing the button and the UI actually doing what you want. You have to hold down the button every time you do something in a menu, every time you open a chest, crate, barrel, or anything that requires an Atlas pass. I mean, the UI does work, but it's clunky, and I don't understand why. It doesn't have to be. Fixing these simple things could easily be done, and the UI would jump from being a 5 to a 9 easily. Finally, this game is buggy. Like, really, really buggy. I fell through the world, I got launched into space, my ship phased in and out of existence, my frame rate dropped, I fought enemies that were clipping into the ground, clipping into walls, clipping into cliffs, were floating when they weren't supposed to, and so on and so forth. I think you get the idea. I can't help but think that this game is a mess. Everything other than the music and art in No Man's Sky is incomplete or just plain wrong for this game. The overarching design is clearly meant to portray loneliness, but it's rendered ineffectual because you aren't alone. The aliens of No Man's Sky are everywhere. Every planet has a few hundred of them at least. But the aliens shouldn't be there. This is No Man's Sky after all. Instead of making the player feel alone, he's just frustrated. These aren't real aliens, these are mannequins. And that's not an exaggeration, these really are just mannequins. The aliens' dialogue is paper thin and meaningless. It doesn't help that the aliens really don't have a significant difference beyond the skins. In a game where intelligent life should feel incredibly rare and precious, it feels pretty cheap and pretty worthless. Hello Games forgot something when they designed this game. They forgot that games are meant to be fun, and they sacrificed fun for size. No Man's Sky is without a doubt the largest game of all time, but it sacrifices too much. The design dollars went only to the super formula that made the game so huge. Few, if any, of those design dollars went to making the game good. Hello Games misread what players want. They thought players want large worlds to get lost in. They thought the success of Elder Scrolls and Witcher 3 was due to size, but it wasn't why those games were successful. Those games were successful because they built cultures to get lost in. They made histories to learn. They had questions to answer. Elder Scrolls built cultures and history. It gives players something to explore, but it also gives them a lot of choice in how they do that. No Man's Sky gives you mining. No, seriously, it's just mining. In Elder Scrolls, players choose to explore combat one day, and history the next. They can explore dungeons, or people, or politics. What I'm trying to say is, Elder Scrolls is a world with limits, but it feels limitless. No Man's Sky built a world with no limits, but it feels incredibly limiting. This game should have felt like it was worth more than what you paid. But the UI is too clunky, the story shouldn't be so sloppy, the combat should be tightened, the world should be smaller, the bugs should be fixed. This game should have felt like it was worth more than I paid. Sadly, I'm left hoping that the patches fix this game. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure I wasted $60. Thank you guys for watching. This game, it's a mess, and I did enjoy going through it with you guys, but it wasn't because it was with you. It was because it was with you guys, not because of anything the game had, which is really sad. I'm hoping you guys have enjoyed this review, and if you did, I want to ask you to leave a like and a comment below. Think about subscribing to my channel, maybe. I've got a lot of content like this, and more stuff is on the way. In the meantime, guys, live long and prosper. May the force be with you. May the odds be ever in your favor. May the drinks be ever in your flavor. May Batman never need to visit your ass at midnight. Same thing with Chuck Norris. Have a great day, guys. Stay safe out there, and goodbye.